So, greetings, friends and followers. This is Nurses Talking. I am Dale Barcy. Here on Nurses Talking, we speak to nurses anywhere in the world and at any stage in their nursing journey. And today it is my very great pleasure to welcome Richard Draza out of Dubai. Richard is a registered nurse and a clinical instructor, a former president of the Student Midwives and Nurses in Uganda. Yes? So welcome, Richard. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good. Thank you so very much for doing this. I appreciate
A,
it.
a pleasure is mine as well.
Okay. So first of all, what brought you into nursing? Who or what influenced you in that direction?
When you look at nursing in my country, actually the community where I come from, it's one of the professions that is well respected. And having looked at that sector, I think there are so many factors that drove me into nursing. When I was in my junior high school, my mom fell sick,
Mm.
and dad was not at home. And as being the eldest son, it was me and mom. So she was down and someone was severely ill. I had to look for it. So we had a nearby clinic, so I had to run to that clinic to talk to the nurses so that they can attend to my mom. And looking at how my mom was handled and she was treated, anyway, it was one of the first things I looked at. Now, secondly, when I was in my high school, I aspired in the leadership and I became now, when I looked at how my mom was treated, I began developing the love for nursing. I was like, okay, I think let me build a foundation from here. I aspired as one of the leaders. I became a health minister.
Yeah.
And you know, in my country, when you're a health minister in any of the institutions, those first aiding kind of kids, you're the one who is actually entirely responsible for student affairs when it comes to the healthcare system. So I had to hold in that responsibility for over 1,000 students. That was in high school. And when I got done with high school, now dad called me and said, okay, what do you want to do for your life? Actually, for him, he was so much into IT because I used to do IT, like I did computer when I was so young. I started it when I was so young. So he was like, okay, I think you should do IT. But looking at how things came up, how I was treated, and how I was so respected from high school, and how I handled things at high school, I was like, Dad, you know what? No, I think I need to go to the health sector. And you know, economically, in our country, things are not all that well. So to educate a child in the health sector is not something easy. Nutrition wise, it's quite hard. And now you ask me, healthcare is so broad. What exactly is what do you want to specialize in? I was like, I wanted to do medicine. I said, medicine, I can't afford it. I said, okay, fine, let's go with nursing. And when he mentioned nursing, yet for me, my interest was nursing. But I knew if I tell him nursing, it would bring me another field. Because there are so many fields he brought on table, he brought lab, he brought nursing, and then it was medicine. Now, when I looked at it, I said, I want to go for medicine. And I knew medicine was something he couldn't afford. So when he brought nursing, I said, okay, we are good to go. And I think that's where the love for, nursing came in and so much got myself dedicated to the field.
So right at the beginning, you started to strategize, huh?
Yes, yes. I started right from the beginning.
Okay. So once you got into first of all, how long is the nursing program in Uganda?
Actually, when you look at Uganda, we are being colonized by the British. So we are using the curriculum for UK.
Okay.
And
Got
and when you look at the subdivisions of nursing in my country, it's being divided into three. Now, first of all, you have to go to an enrollment. Enrollment, I think, when you look at it into the US and the Canadian standard, that's what they call the licensed practical nurses.
Yeah.
It's 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Though in the UK, in Canada and US, they do it for only one and a
Yeah.
half years or
Like
2 years,
one.
depending on the university where you've gone to. So in my country, strictly, it's 2.5 years. Then we have the diploma nurses. If you are direct from high school, it's 3 years. But if you're extending from like when you do enrollment and then you extend to diploma, that's like 1.5 years. Then of course the bachelor's, which is always 4 years at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think that's the subdivisions of nursing. Depends on where you start. If you start from
Yeah.
enrollment, 2.5. If you got direct entrance, 3 years.
Gotcha. Pretty much the same as in the UK, yes. So
Yeah.
what were the challenges for you?
Okay. Every field you go in, there are always challenges.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the most challenging things that I faced in the field was most people got tired of me because I'm this one who is not tired of learning. Because I got the motivation right from childhood.
Yeah.
I was stretching everyone around me, my tutors, my friends. I would always want to be in every aspect, in every corner where it take me. Because when you look at the nursing sector of Uganda, it's not specialized. And you
Okay.
realize even an enrolled nurse, you find yourself in dental, you find yourself doing physiotherapy, and then
Oh,
some bit of other sectors as well. So looking at all that, it became a challenge to me because I was going astray. People could tell me, man, I think you're a problem to ourselves. You're going astray. I think that's one of the biggest challenges I face. And then other challenges are still, it's in the whole world. Payment is not that well. And then facilitation is not that well. But of course, this is just a worldwide kind of challenge, as we know. And as we know as nurses, of course, as much as the profession is well respected, those are the challenges. It's not only in Uganda, even in the UAE, I've been really experiencing it.
yeah. Okay. So currently you are an instructor.
Yes,
You're a clinical instructor?
currently I'm doing two jobs. During
Yeah.
the day, I'm a clinical instructor. During
Uh-huh.
the night, I'm a nurse in the ward.
What area is that? What kind of ward?
Actually, I'm working in medical ward.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I'm trying hard. I'm trying hard. I want to specialize. Okay, when I came to the UAE, I realized that UAE is using the curriculum for the US,
Mm-hmm.
and there are lots of specialities. Not like in my country, whereby if you're a nurse, like you can be deployed in any part of the
Anywhere.
world,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
anywhere. But when I came to the UAE, there is a lot of specialities, so I decided to specialize in medical.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, and
Okay.
and and being a clinical instructor, I'm teaching both tropical and scientific kind of medicine. So I decided that I need to specialize in medicine at the same time. So there's no way you're teaching medicine and you're going to surgical work. It does not make that bit of sense. So since I'm specialized in medical, especially in the clinical sector, I've decided that I should have to specialize in medical world at the same time.
So as a clinical instructor, you're attached to what kind of institution? To a university or
Uh,
just, yeah.
okay, there are two colleges here. The first college where I got myself first attached, it is actually, if I'm to say, it's the first course that is being offered is for the CNAs, Certified
Okay.
Nursing Assistants. And
Yeah.
then also we have the licensed practical nurses. That is the first college where I got myself attached. So there is a university here called Gulf University. And partly I also have a group of students that I do offer. I do teach tropical medicine actually at the same time.
hmm Wow. So you're wearing quite a few hats, huh? So as okay, so you are doing both, hands-on work and you're an instructor. And when you marry those two, what do you think you would like to see change?
Wow. Actually, it's since I'm being doing two things at a time, and when you look at like I told you before, my major goal here is to specialize in nursing alone.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, I started building these foundations of being a clinical instructor when I was a little bit young.
Yeah,
And of course, being a nurse, always I keep telling my students, you don't need to fix yourself, but you should only do the clinical, okay, like the hand-in kind of work. If you have the talent, if you have the experience to do other things, as well as during that time when you're doing the hand-in work kind of thing, you should offer yourself. As long as you know how to manage your time, you know how to handle things. Because there are people who cannot handle two things at the same time.
I know. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, I know it's quite challenging, yes, because now one person during day, you have 6 hours to be in class. Then during night, you have 8 hours to be in the ward. I know most people would ask me that question, but it's not that I have to do it from Monday to Monday. No, there are those specific days that I have to give myself to have a total rest. As human beings, there is always that point when you have to. Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, just like that, I've been handling it one at the same time. And what I could just say is that I'm doing the aspect of the clinical for the time being, as I'm looking forward to specialize generally in nursing. That is the real goal I have as of now. And in the UAE here, I'm going to do it for a short time as I look for how to, also prosper in other countries and in other sectors at the same time. But it's only going to be in nursing. Of course,
Understood.
my goal is to see that I've achieved a lot of experience, a lot of being exposed to so many fields, especially in so many conditions. Each country there are some conditions I've never seen in my country, but in the UAE here, I've been managing them. So
Hmm.
my really goal is to get that exposure so that I can get all the skills, experience, and I put it into use in the future aspect of nursing.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah.
Yes, please.
What, so given that there is such a difference about the way nursing is practiced in Uganda, and as you can see in other places, what do you think you'd like to see? What is your vision then, like, for nurses and nursing in Uganda? How do you think would you like to see it coalesce or improve?
Yeah, thank you so much. Actually, that is, I think, a broad question that can't be handled by a person. And when
Mm-hmm.
you look at the healthcare system today, it differs from one country to the other. But
Mm-hmm.
in my own perspective, everything in today's world is being politicized. Like it's like politics has really entered into it. But as a leader in the nursing sector, what I can just say in my own perspective is that the rights and the freedom for nurses, I think, is something that should be highly being put into consideration. That's something I really feel that if there were people like you, like me, who would sit in every sector and every part of the world to fight for the rights and the freedoms of the nurses, I think that's one thing I look forward in the coming future. But of course, as you know, as a person, I cannot handle it. Let's say now in Uganda, yes, I remember I served as a national president for health institutions. I tried, but of course I couldn't fight it because, just as I said, those sectors of politics and all that were there. But I look forward that in the near future, there should be, a very fair environment for nurses, and they should really practice knowing this is what we are meant to do. And when you have that mindset, you have the free environment, and you're really doing what you're best at. Of course, life is always going to be our best at. But if those factors and other conditions come in, and there is no one who can, talk about them, life becomes very, very difficult.
Yeah, 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 yeah. As you know, that is the thing, because as we as nurses broaden our horizons, and now at this time at this stage in time, we have the opportunity to do that. Um, as we broaden our horizons and become more and more globally aware, I think it gives us a little more opportunity to venture into other sectors. As you talked about politics, we need to get into politics. We need to get into policy making. We need to get into, where we are in education, but we need to take charge of that and all of that kind of thing. So yeah, okay.
So, absolutely.
What advice would you give though to someone who wants to be a nurse?
Um, well, nursing today is different from the nursing of the previous days.
Yep.
Today's nursing has become something which is, if you really don't have the skills, the quality, and the experience, life isn't really that easy in today's kind of nursing field. So my advice to my new nurses who are having the hope to join us in the field is that as you're coming to the field, you should have the mindset that I'm going to join the health sector with the ability to serve. When you have that mindset that I want to serve. Whatever situations come in, whatever challenges you face, you'll always overcome them. Like as a nurse, you go to the ward, you meet people with different personalities, people with different religions, people who are exposed in different sectors. And you have to make sure that this person is in your hands, of course, psychologically and
Yeah.
socially, spiritually. You have to make sure you expose yourself to say that this patient becomes well, even if not clinically treated. But those are the treatments. So I would advise those who are planning to join us to have that mindset, because when you don't have the mindset, difficulty, it's not going to be easy for you. But when you have the mindset that in whatever situation it is, this is the profession I've been called to do this, definitely you love the profession. But if you don't have that in mind, it's not going to be easy.
Right. Because in itself, it's not an easy profession. So yeah, yeah.
True.
You talked about being having some interest in IT, and that is where your dad wanted to direct you. And
Mhm.
technology is huge in our
True,
profession now. So how
true.
do you see it affecting the way we practice nursing going forward? Because at this point, many of us are embracing it, and many of us are still very hands off and still very kind of scared of it. How do you think we can incorporate it, or we are incorporating it to influence the way we practice?
I think looking at IT today in the healthcare system, it's really very okay to me. Actually, it has improved so many things, especially on the qualities of how the care is being given to the patients. Now, it comes back to us, and with technology, the more the technology advances, of course, the more broader the whole field becomes. You have to learn in other systems, like you should
Yeah.
equip yourself, like how to operate the things using computer and all that. So I think we nurses, we should have that idea and also embrace ourselves and give ourselves that opportunity to learn the IT so that it will also improve our way of handling like handling the patients at the same time. Because
Yeah.
there's no way as a nurse, let's say you are in the ward and you're doing night shift, there is no one absolutely, you're the one who is in the field, you have no idea of what to do using a computer, and you have an emergency of a patient. There's no way you're going to run away. That patient is in your hands. So you have to look into all aspects, see that you do whatever you can to treat that patient. So me, I would have that view that as much as technology is also advancing, we should also advance ourselves in how we can, cope up and
Yeah.
cooperate with the technology and
Yeah.
the qualities of healthcare provision.
Yeah. We're going to have to. We're going to have to. Yeah.
True, true.
So one more thing. You do so much. What do you do to take care of you? What does self-care mean to you?
Uh, as you know, the nurses, we exposed to so many things. Let's say you really have to offer yourself to make sure that, let's say, you are actually on duty and things are so worse, you have to make sure you do whatever you can. I think even sometimes I get myself dancing for my patients to make
Mm.
sure that they take the treatment and all that. You have to do whatever it takes to make sure somebody goes off such a condition. So I think when it comes to self-care, I'm always keen. Most of my times when I'm free, let's say when I'm done with work, I go to the gym. And with the gym, you have to you release a lot of sweat and the stress goes off. That's one thing I got myself doing. And I think the second thing I do is I'm one person who loves watching movies. And other times when I watch movies, I smile, I laugh. At the end of the day, the past situation that I went through, especially during my time of work, is gone. I woke up in the morning knowing I'm starting the day afresh.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I cannot, sometimes I do research and like now me who is in the clinical sector, because in the morning you have to go to class and teach people. So I have to read, go to the YouTube, read videos and all that. So I think
Yeah.
that's something I do to keep myself busy so that I don't go through hard times.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely important. Absolutely important. And I actually ask it of every nurse because we have this tendency to constantly put ourselves on the back burner. and not realize that we have taken care of everyone else and left ourselves out of the equation. So yeah,
That's true. That's true.
yeah. So Richard, before we go, is there any last words you'd like to leave us with? Are there any last words?
Wow. I think first and foremost, I'm really so pleased to be part of this nurses talk conversation. It really means a lot to me. I've been trying hard to join some sort of team organizations, especially the ones in the US, in Canada and all that. I've been trying that. And I think having this conversation, having this platform is one thing that I'm so grateful of. I don't know how many people have been chosen to do this, but I'm really, really so happy to be a part of this team. And I believe one day, one time, if the opportunity is being granted, even if being a member, I think it will be the best pleasure for me. And my last and my really last word, especially to the nurses who are out there, is that this is a call. Whatever situation it is, you just need to cope up. Do whatever you can. Protect yourself, because that's the first and foremost thing. You have to be healthy so that you can be able to save so many lives and offer the best service. And then at the same time, I would also say those who are in the field, you don't need to relax, because now the level you're in, don't say that's the end of the world. Expand yourself, expand your careers, go upgrade yourself. If you're having bachelor's of now, go get masters, because this is how the world is. We are so competitive today.
Yeah,
So
that's
I would
true.
say we really need to try our best to see that quality is being provided to the patient. I think that's the last word I could say to my fellow nurses out there.
Richard, thank you so very, very, very much. It was such a pleasure to do this, really. I'm so happy that you agreed to do this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.